Okay, so we are actually about to fit the rotating screen to the Model 3 2021 model. Now this particular kit will actually fit all models, all Model 3 from 2017 to 2022 now. We're going to go through the parts now. Let's take out the actual bracket. You can see this is milled aluminium. It's based in with a bolt, nylon washer, and it rotates. Now you won't be able to rotate that too easily, although that one you can. You can see it clicks into position. Put that to the side. This particular piece is not required for this model. There's your shroud. This is the shroud piece. This will replace the shroud currently on your screen, on the back of your screen. And here is the shroud that will clip into your dashboard. And this piece here, it's actually optional, but we'll show you how to fit it. Double-sided tape comes off and it will sit in here. Actually sit like that. That's an optional part, like we have fitted them for some, and others we've just chosen to leave it off. It's optional. We'll show you how to do it. We take this off. That's the earlier models for the sensor, for the interior temperature sensor, and that's for the later models. That's 2021 and above. That's previous models 2017 to 2020. The sensor will just screw off the existing cover and onto this. Let's go through the tools. Before we do that, you will need these two bolts. They will actually screw up into here. They will mount your screen. The tools. Let's open up the kit. Now you will get away with these tools, but we will be using some of our own tools as well. Torque bit kit, which will be a torque bit of it's a torque bit 20 and 25 is the ones you will need. The ones that are on this, you will get away with this tool. So you will be able to fit the whole kit with these tools, but we'll be using some of our own tools as well. And if you've got them, I suggest you try to use your own as well. Okay, so we're using a 3/8 ratchet set with a 10mm short extension, with the longer extension there if we need it. We've also got a torque bit kit with a screwdriver that can work both ways. Once again, the torque bits that are used on these are 20 and a 25. So we've got the option, we'll get this one here, which will be the other one as well. So they're the extra tools that we're going to use, but once again, you can get away with using these. But if you have these available, use them. Makes your life a lot easier. Let's get into it. Okay, so what we've done is we've set up a towel here on the center console. But over here we have all the parts we need from the kit, and what I've done is put the tools over here. What I found is that this tool here didn't work for me that well the last time I did one of these. It should work. I'm going to give it a go. If you struggle, then I actually found another tool that helped me unclip that cover that sits up under here. Okay, what we're going to do is go into dark screen mode, which is here somewhere. Display, clean screen mode, and away you go. So next step is we're going to come up under here and take this cover off using this tool. There's a little cutout in here that we can get the tool in, and hopefully it'll just pop off. Okay, and here we have a wire. Just need to be using the end of that. Right, screwdriver, just press this in, and out she comes. Okay, you see I pressed into that little window. See that little hook?
Right.
Can you see it? That little hook is the only thing holding it on into that little cavity window there. This, straight away if you want, you can come over here and swap it over which is exactly what we'll do. We'll grab our 20mm torque bit. This here. Take it out. Place that down over here. This will only go in one way. You can see it won't go in that way. Won't go in that way. It will go in this way. It will only go in one way. Got it. Start it with the fingers, mate. Okay. There you have it. That's ready to go back in. Okay, so we're going to take out these bolts here, 2 10mm. Okay, and these are not currently supporting any weight. It's on it slides in, and we'll show you how to get them out. Using the shorter extension that we've got, you can see why this is so much easier. That's a 3/8 ratchets there. There the other one. There it is. Working with braille at the moment. You'll get these to a point where you can do them by hand. Go and give. These same bolts will go straight back into these same holes. One. This one over here. Okay, we're going to do the bolts. 2 bolts taken out. These same bolts go back in. Now, this is why we've laid this down here. This will actually slide right out and allow us to turn it over. Place it down here. There's our other wire. Now, what we will do is we'll take this shroud off to make our life a little easier. We need the bigger torque bit, which is there we go. Now we'll take it off. Don't want to lose these screws. So over here, shroud's up out of the way. Now, getting this off, it's a little fun. You need to turn it around. What we're trying to do, it's a little tricky getting this cover off. Really weird connecting system. The 2 things that hold this up are the bits at the bottom there. So that's why I had to turn it around. Anyway, that one's done. And here you'll see, so I'm going to use this little screwdriver as a tool. I'm going to push this little lever in. Can you see? This is important. Push this in. There. Pull up. That's very important that you take your time doing this. These are very, very fine. And that is pretty much the hardest thing you're going to do in this whole transition or conversion or whatever you want to call it. Take the cover off, place the cover over here, grab the new shroud. We do this straight away, you'll see the shroud pops straight on like that. Okay. Now before we go any further, what we can do is we'll put that in straight away, I think. There is a little bit of a technique to this, putting the shroud in. And watch this. We good? Is make sure the bolts go right in and into that cavity, into that crack, that little cutout. Otherwise, they will go in on an angle and you can damage the thread. So pushing these in, make sure they're pushed in all the way. Then, using your tool, and screw them straight back in. Now, like I said, if you don't push these screws in first, the screws will go in on an angle and you will possibly damage the thread on the back of the screen, which is bad news. Now, some people are going to be thinking, why wouldn't you do this and get the wiring in first? Well, it is actually easier. I've done it both ways. It is actually easier to put this on first. Tension it up. Once again, you're getting rid of little jobs. Next job, so we grab this piece here. We don't need these screws on just now because they're going to come on later. Put the screws over here. Now, on this bracket, we'll bolt straight in there. Using the two existing bolts, we're going to screw these up into, straight back in, straight back in. Okay, so we'll screen these up. Just to jiggle this around a bit. You gotta get them in a fair way with your fingers. It's always good to start threads as many turns as you can with your fingers. We go back to our tool, 10mm. We do this up here. Now you'll see that there's a little bit of gap there. That'll actually pull down and lock down on that. You see it starting to pull down now. Work over here. Now what you may need to do is turn that out of your way. You can see where we're going with this. You do want this done up properly. The original one was very tight. Tension on these is probably around about 50 Newton meters. I'm getting on that. Okay, so now we're going to put the shroud in around. Now this is a little bit fidgety. And you will need to twist and turn this particular bracket around a little. You can see I'm sort of pulling the wiring through. We're going a little bit over this side. And there we go, we got it on. Now, you want to put the bottom in first. And now we're going to push down and get this top bit in. You can see what I'm doing. 1, 2, 3, 4, done. The reason that went in really easy is because I've done one before. And if you have a look at that, that's how it sits. Okay, so we're going to plug the wiring back in, so we're going to push this up here. We're going to push this wiring back in. Nice. And you can hear that click. And now you can get this shroud. Cover thing back in, pushing the fingers down, like I said. There we go. That cover goes back over like that. We're going to put it in. We're going to install the screen. Take your time, lifting up. Make sure the wiring is out of the way. Lining up. Hand underneath the support. Make sure the wire is doing what it's meant to do. is good. Get a good look from this angle. Now what you'll find is the angle tilts back more than you think. There you go. It actually, there we go. That's better. Do you feel that?
Yep.
Okay, good. So now, you'll find it will tilt back more than you think to get these bolts to start. It does take a little mess around. So, if you're unsure, tilt back. And just like I have there, I managed to get that bolt in first go. And here, once again, it's not my first one. So, good feel for the bolt. Now we're actually going to use a tool that came with the Allen key. Okay, tight enough. Done. Last step, put the wiring back in, fish down the wire. You can see it goes back on the same way. Clip on the outside. There's the outside clip, that side. So it'll only go in one way. Push that down into there, and this can only go in that way. So that edge goes in first. That way. Get underneath. We've got less room to work with here, can you see? Push the wiring back in and up. And push the bottom section in. There we go, one edge in, the other edge, that'll work. Got that? Now, this last piece, the option, is this goes in, up, under here. Now you can choose to fit that. You can't see down there. But anyway, that's an optional extra. You can push that back in there to make it look a little bit neater. I personally don't need it in there. It's just going to get in the way of the wiring. But that, if we just scan back, you'll see the screen doesn't hit. There's still space on that side. You see that? Doesn't hit. Clears it. And on this side also clears it. You can see the clearance is still, nothing's hitting. Okay, so we've fitted the screen, and we've fitted two of these now. First one we didn't have any issues with the screen after replugging it in, but this one we did. We had the screen freeze. After doing a little bit of research, what we found is you just simply needed to reboot the car, which is holding these two scroll buttons down for 10 seconds and then releasing. The car will reboot, screen will start to work. So you may or may not have that issue. If you do, that's the solution. So there's the finished product.